Alright, I felt this week's exercise using actual paper to draw on for you guys and actually working directly with you on your art was really good. And you guys did really amazing, tremendous work on some simple stuff. And that's how most art is created, from simple arrangements of lines, shapes, circles, squares, and stuff like that. And you have to kind of relax and be fluid. So we're going to do it again today, and we're going to start learning how to draw poses on paper for our characters for our games. Now, you're going to need some paper, and you can use some paper like this, which is nice, clear computer paper. It works. It's good. You can use the back side of a letter. So here's some paper I have that's got some other stuff on it that I printed out for my other job, and I just, got some stuff there that I'm, like the other side's printed on. It doesn't matter. You can use lined paper from a notebook or from a binder, and sometimes the lines can help you gauge sizes of things. And so anything that you want to draw on, you want to try to get something about 8.5 by 11, but anything you draw on is good to draw on. So I'm not one of these people who says, oh, I can only draw on cotton-based papers that have been manufactured by a cold press system. No, draw anywhere, anything, something. So let's get started. I'm going to be drawing on my computer, and the only reason I'm doing that is it's easier to show you what I'm trying to do quickly and easily. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so anytime you start to get ready to draw, we want you to be thinking about warming up and getting your body and your mind sort of lined up to draw. So scribble a little bit. Just do a whole page of scribbles. So this is going to take us a few sheets today to get the job done. Just do a whole loopity-loop, scribble, scribble, scribble. And you'll find that loosens up your body, gets your mind and your drawing arm sort of in tune. Draw from your shoulder or your elbow, not from your wrist. Always use your whole arm to draw with, because you're going to get more fluid, relaxed lines, and that's good stuff. So also don't push too hard. The harder you push, the darker your lines are, and those are more irrevocable. So you want to keep your lines kind of light and easy. Once you've got a bunch of that done, let's practice a few circles. And the way I like to draw circles is sort of like this. So I kind of draw them like this, and eventually somewhere in there I find the shape of a circle. So I draw a couple. If I just draw one, it's kind of like, I don't know, man, who knows. But if I draw this up a little bit more like this, big, little, it comes out a bit more circular, or somewhere in the process I find a circle. But we're just kind of relaxing into it. And you can also draw some squares. So squares are useful, and that one's totally imperfect. And it's okay to be imperfect, but try to focus on good technique that is about parallel sides and good solid right angle corners and stuff like that. And you can even draw a couple of them like sideways. I don't really draw sideways. Usually for me, I turn the paper to do that kind of stuff. So if I really want to put a corner, a shape like this, what I'm going to do is to turn the paper, because I draw horizontally and vertically reasonably well, but I don't draw so well diagonally all the time. So let's get back on the game here. So now, having drawn some warm-ups, we got a whole page of warm-ups that you did some scribbles, you did some circles and squares. Now we're going to talk about proportion, and we're going to focus today on a couple of basic character poses. So let's start off by building a shape in which to put our character. And the top part of the shape is going to be a square, and the bottom part is another half that size. So this part is half of that part there. So up here we're going to put, let's just zoom in on this. Let's see, I know how to operate this. Let's see. Let's zoom in and we can see this better. Alright. So now what I want to do is I want to find, if you go diagonal from here to there, you find that the diagonals find the middle of the square for you. Something in that region, right? So I'm going to use this to get my tangents, draw my circle in. And that circle is what I'm going to draw for the character's head. And it's not perfect, but it's okay. Now what I'm also going to draw down here is an oval sort of shape. This is the character's body. And when you wind up drawing this in the software, when you're drawing your vector shapes using Vector or some other software, you'll find that you can draw all these pieces once and then move the pieces around to get your animations out of it. So for now, let's just focus on the character's proportions. And proportion is measuring one thing from something else. So I've got the head as my primary measurement, and the body part, head and neck to the feet, is about half the height of the head in this little weird world of games. So let's draw this character's foot sticking out. We did this one last time, so we want to get used to drawing walking and think about the poses of walking. So I'm just going to put this leg, the right leg is in front, and the back leg, the left leg, is behind. And there's a ton of stuff online that you can find that'll show you how to draw these poses. Not how to draw them necessarily, but like what they look like. And a walk, this is what we call a Y. And in character walks, we have Ys and 4s. Let's see if I get the 4. I think the 4 is actually upside down. I'm trying to remember here. Nope, it's a backwards 4. So when we say Ys and 4s, we got the feet like this. This is the contact position, and 4 is the passing position. So whichever way it's going, you know, it's kind of extreme like this. But Ys and 4s are our poses for that. So if you want to, you don't have to, but you can erase as you go. Okay, let me get this more focused, and let's keep drawing. So now with the front leg on the right, the arm on that side is going to go to the back. And I'm just going to keep it kind of loose in general with a stick and a wad for the hand. And it's probably a little bit low there. Well, I should draw them a little higher. So you want to like think through that shape to get the other side. So now we're going to add in the features. So once you've got the basic foundation, that's when you start adding features. Okay, so let's give them some great big eyes. And you can make yours look however you want. You can change the gender, change the expression, change the personality. Many things you can express about this, and always be respectful and kind, because people are people and cartoon characters are sort of people, and we want to make sure that we respect them and respect the people around us with these things. So being kind as we draw is always a good thing. Alright, so this is a pose for walking. And now that you've got the things roughed in, you can push a little bit hard with your pencil and sort of decide what's going to stay. So the darker lines are stuff you're going to keep, and the lighter lines are things that are just going to go away. And you can actually wind up taking a picture of this, and I'll show you how to do this next week, how to bring this into Vector to draw in the computer. So a lot of times, I've done a ton of digital and traditional art, and not all, but most of my digital art that I'll draw in this program or Photoshop or Illustrator or some other program, most all of it starts with a sketch. And by sketch, I mean on a piece of paper. So there's that. All right, now we're going to try to get the 4 drawing drawn. So I'm going to get rid of some of my space over here. Learn how to work this thing. I'm going to have to just erase because I can't find the tool I need to do this with. Let's just delete this. And so the same proportions are going to hold, but this time I'm going to draw the 4. So here's my square. And I'm trying to line things up because one picture is a reference for the other one in every way. So now I've got this. I feel like my proportions might not be spot on, but I'm going to go with what I had. Alright, so I can start off by going, okay, there's the body, here's the head, okay, relatively imperfect, and at this phase, imperfect is okay, because when you clean things up using the computer, or Vector, or Photoshop, or Illustrator, that's where you clean up and get the details happening, unless this is permanently for paper. So if you're drawing a cartoon, then you do want to perfect things on paper, but you know, that's not what this particular lesson is about. So I'm going to move on. So now this leg here sort of winds up moving back, so that one is going to be straight. And at that position, the character actually rises up a little bit, so they get taller. So the whole thing moves up and down somewhat, which we'll do when we get into computerizing this, which we're not going to do today. Relax. And then the other leg is coming forward, like this. And you can always erase so you can see it better, and especially if you're pushing too hard with your pencil. A lot of beginning artists push way too hard with their pencils. Relax, just relax and draw the stuff. So now this arm is coming forward and this arm is going back. So that's kind of how that works. And that's the pose. So that's Y's and 4s. Now the next thing we're going to draw on the same sheet, preferably, is going to be let's just move this over. Sure, let's do it over here. So we're trying to line these up and try to get the same sizes out of things. And this time we're going to have jumping. So for jumping, we're going to actually lean the body a little bit. Keep the head in place. And I'm just going to use these tangent points for guides for how big to draw the head. That's close. Somewhere in that region. Nose. Eyes. And again, when you draw this in the computer, you're going to use the same head over and over again. So you don't have to draw the head in the computer 3 times. You just use one and copy it. But on paper, we're going to do something different. So this is jumping. And let's kind of think about a 2-footed pose where one foot is pushing off. And the other one is like doing something else. And you sort of have to think about angles and where the hip joints are and stuff. So let's bring this up a bit more. And foot back, arm forward. And then this other one's going to be back like this. So now my character is jumping. Alright, so when you're done with this, take a picture of it with your phone, send it to yourself by email, and go ahead and put it on the provided page in Bulb. So you're practicing character poses with this. And as you can see, it's not perfect. My first one came out pretty good, and my quality decreased as I went. And my goal with that is to be able to draw these pieces in some of their vector program and then animate them from there. So that's our drawing exercise for today. Good job. Remind you to tell yourself good things about your drawings. You're doing a good job, and you're going to be okay. See you soon.